This video is about review for calculus. 1a. Consider the function f of x equals x to the fourth power over 4. Find the f prime of x, which means we are looking for the derivative of f of x. Using this power rule of derivative, we can get the f prime of x equals 1 over 4 times 4x to the third power. Then we reduce, you will get the x to the third power. For 1b, find the gradient of a graph of f at x equals negative 1 over 2. Gradient means derivative. So we just plug in negative 1/2 to this derivative function. You will get the negative 1/2 to the third power. That is negative 1 over 8. For 1c, find the x-coordinate of the points at which the normal to the graph of f has a gradient negative 1 over 8. We're looking for the x-coordinate of point. The normal to the graph of f has gradient negative 1 over 8, which means the slope of a normal line equals negative 1 over 8. Therefore, slope of a tangent line, that equals 8. Because for 1 over 8, you do opposite and reciprocal. You will get 8. For slope of a tangent line means a derivative function. In other words, you will get the derivative of f of x equals 8. Derivative function, we got x to the third power equals 8. So x, we do the cubic root of 8. That is 2. Let's go to 2a. The diagram shows part of graph of function y equals f of x. The graph passes through point 1, 3. It's here. Write down the value of f of 1. f of 1 equals to 3. Remember when you have coordinate x, y, which means f of x equals to y. Therefore, when you have coordinate 1, 3 means f of 1 equals 3. 2b, the tangent to the graph y equals f of x at a has equation y equals negative 2x plus 5. Let n be the normal to the graph of y equals f of x at a. Find the equation of n. Give your answer in the form ax plus by plus d equal to 0 form, and a, b, d are integers. From this equation, y equals negative 2x plus 5, we know the slope of a tangent line equals negative 2. So we can get the slope of a normal line, that equals 1 over 2. Remember, we do opposite and reciprocal. That's 1 over 2. Therefore, we already know the point A, that is 1, 3. That is your x1, y1. So using the formula y minus y1 equals to slope x minus x1. We will get y minus 3 equals slope of a normal line, that is 1 over 2, x minus 1. Then we need to organize this linear function into this format. Since we have a fraction, so we multiply by 2 both sides. We do distributive property. You will get 2y minus 6 equals. Here's 1. When you do distributive property, just get itself x minus 1. Since we are looking for equals to 0, so move everything to the left side. Remember, you need to change the sign. So you will get that negative x plus 2y minus 6 plus 1 equal to 0. And organize negative x plus 2y minus 5 equal to 0. This could be your answer because it didn't say the a must be positive. Or you can divide by negative 1. You will get the x minus 2y plus 5 equal to 0. Both answers are good. For 2c, draw the line N on the diagram above. When they use draw, you have to make sure it's an accurate line. Therefore, we have x minus 2y plus 5 equal to 0. We already know it must pass this point A. The other point, let's do x equal to 0 so that we can find the y-intercept. And 0 minus 2y plus 5 equal to 0. Since this is a linear equation, we isolate variable on one side. You will get the 2y equals 5. So y equals 5 over 2. Another point will be 0, 5 over 2. That means 2.5 is here. Then you need to connect these 2 points. Let's go to 3a. Consider the function negative x to the fourth power plus ax squared plus 5, where a is a constant. Part of the graph of y equals f of x is shown below. Write down the y-intercept of the graph. Y-intercept, that means f of 0 equals negative 0 to the fourth power plus a 0 squared plus 5. You will get 5. So for y-intercept, this point, it will be 5. Go to 3b, find the f prime of x. Using the power rule of derivative, x to the nth power, let's do derivative equals drop down, then n minus 1. Therefore, for f prime of x equals negative x to the fourth power, we do derivative, plus ax squared, we do derivative, then plus 5, do derivative. You will get a negative 4x third power plus drop down, that means 2ax. Constant number will be 0. So we get negative 4x third power plus 2ax. For 3c, it's known that at the point where x equals 2, the tangent to the graph of y equals f of x is a horizontal. Show that a equals 8. Tangent to the graph of y equals fx is a horizontal, which means the derivative of fx equals to 0. So we will set up negative 4x third power plus 2ax equals to 0. We do know that x equals 2, so we plug in negative 4 2 to the third power plus 2a times 2 equals to 0. You will get a negative 32 plus 4a equals to 0. This is a linear equation, so isolate 4a on one side. You will get 4a equals 32. So we divide it by 4. A equals 8. Whenever you see show that, you just work the problem out. The tangent to the graph of y equals f of x is horizontal. It means the derivative equal to 0. And it also means for x equals to either this is a minimum or maximum point. Or it could be stationary inflection point. For this question, we could say this x equals 2 because this is a maximum point. Find f of 2. We just need to plug into the original function. Remember for this a, that's 8. So we get the negative 2 to the fourth power plus 8. 2 squared plus 5. Negative 16 plus 32 plus 5. You will get the 21. 3e. There are two other points on the graph y equals f of x at which the tangent is horizontal. Write down the x coordinates of these 2 points. When you're talking about the tangent is horizontal, you will make a derivative of f of x equals to 0. We already figured out the f prime of x equals negative 4x third power plus 2ax. So we will set up negative 4x third power plus 2ax equals to 0. We already know a equals 8, so we plug in. You will get the negative 4x to the third power plus 2 times 8 x equals to 0. Organize, you will get negative 4x third power plus 16x equals to 0. Divide by negative 1 both sides because I don't want the x to the third power, the coordinate is negative. So we get the 4x third power minus 16x equals to 0. Now, factor that, you will get the 4x, x squared minus 4 equal to 0. Keep factoring because this is a dose factoring. So we get the 4x, x plus 2, x minus 2 equal to 0. Therefore, we set up this equal to 0, x1 equals to 0. For this equal to 0, x2 equals negative 2. And x3 equals to 2. We put x minus 2 equal to 0. Therefore, we already know x equals 2. The tangent line is horizontal. So we got the other 2 points. That is x equals 0 or negative 2. Let's go to 3f. Write down the intervals where the gradient of the graph of y equals f of x is positive. From 3e, we already get the other 2 points where the tangent line is horizontal. So we can label on this graph. This is 0. This will be 2. Here is a negative 2. The gradient, that means the f prime of x is a positive greater than 0, which means the graph is increasing. From this given graph, we know from here to here is increasing. This is increasing. So this will be negative infinity to negative 2 and from 0 to 2. Therefore, the interval will be negative infinity to negative 2 or from 0 to 2, where the gradient of a graph is positive. 3G, write down the range of f of x. We couldn't see the lowest point, so that is negative infinity. The highest point, we know that this one is 21 from here. That's 21. Therefore, the range will be from negative infinity to 21. For 3H, write down the number of possible solutions to the equation f of x equals to 5. This point is 5. Therefore, we draw the horizontal line. The intersection means the number of possible solutions. So we have 1, 2, 3. The answer will be 3 possible solutions. For 3I, the equation f of x equals to m, where m is real numbers, has 4 solutions. Find the possible value of m. You could say, if I draw a line like this, that you have 2 solutions. If you draw the line like this, you have 3 solutions. If you draw a line like this, you have 4 solutions. Which means this m will be between 5 and 21. Let's go to 4a. The equation of the straight line L1 is y equals 2x minus 3. Write down the y-intercept of L1. F of 0, that is the y-intercept. So we plug 0 to this function. You will get the 2 times 0 minus 3 equals negative 3. So the y-intercept will be negative 3. Write down the gradient of L1. This is a linear function. Gradient means slope. Therefore, the gradient of L1 equals 2. This is the slope. For C, the line L2 is parallel to L1. Parallel, that means slope equals to each other. And pass through the point 0, 3. Write down the equation of L2. This is x1, y1. Parallel, that's the slope equals 2. So we use y minus y1 equals to slope times x minus x1. You can get the equation y minus 3 equals 2 times x minus 0. So we organize y minus 3 equals 2x. Leave as it is. 3D. The line 3 is perpendicular to L1. You got to do the opposite and reciprocal. So this time, for slope, that equals, we use M3 stand for the slope of L3. That is negative 1 over 2. And pass through the point negative 2, 6. Write down the gradient of L3. That is negative 1/2. Find the equation of L3. Give your answer in the form ax plus by plus d equals to 0. A, b, and d are integers. We already got the slope is a negative 1 over 2. Therefore, using y minus y1 equals slope 3 times x minus x1. This will be the x1, y1. So we plug in y minus 6 equals negative 1 over 2 times x plus 2, because x minus negative 2 equals x plus 2. Then we multiply by 2 both sides so that we can get rid of this denominator. This will be negative 1. Do the distributive property, get the negative x minus 2. Here, distributive property will be 2y minus 12. We are looking for equals to 0, so everything on the right side move to the left side. Remember, change the sign. So you get the x plus 2y minus 12 plus 2 equals to 0. Combine like terms, x plus 2y minus 10 equals to 0. This will be the solution. Let's go to 5a. Consider the function f of x equals this. Part of the graph of f is shown below. Find the derivative of f of x. Using the power rule of derivative, x nth power, we do derivative equals drop down n, then x to the n minus 1th power. So for f prime of x, we do derivative for this, derivative for this, derivative for that, and then derivative for this. So we get 3x squared minus 6x plus 2. This will be 0. For 5b, there are 2 points at which the gradient of the graph of f is 11. Find the x coordinate of this point. The gradient means derivative that equals 11. Therefore, you will set up 3x squared minus 6x plus 2 equals to 11. You can put into equation solver to solve this, but anyway, you have to minus 11 both sides so that you will get equal to 0. And 3x squared minus 6x minus 9 equal to 0. Divided by 3 both sides, because that's the common factor. X squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Factor x minus 3x plus 1 equals to 0. So x1 equals to 3, x2 equals to negative 1. This will be the solution to 5b. 6a. Consider the function f of x equals 0.5x squared minus 8 over x. Find f of negative 2. We just need to plug negative 2 to this function. You will get a 0.5 negative 2 squared minus 8 over negative 2. We put it into calculator, you will get 6. For 6b, find f prime of x. First of all, you need to change this function into power form. So f of x equals 0.5x squared. Then minus 8 times x to the negative first power. Then for prime, we got to do derivative like this. Drop down minus 1. This will be 0.5 times 2x minus 8 times negative 1. Then x, negative 1 minus 1. That is a negative 2. Remember that x to the negative nth power equals 1 over x to the nth power. Therefore, you will get the x plus 8 over x squared. That is x plus 8 over x squared. That will be f prime of x. For 6c, find the gradient of the graph of f at x equals negative 2. Gradient means derivative. So for gradient of the graph of f at x equals negative 2, which means f prime of negative 2 equals, we plug in here, negative 2 plus 8 over negative 2 squared. You will get 0. When derivative equal to 0, that means at x equals negative 2 could be minimum or maximum or stationary inflection point. 6d, let t be the tangent to the graph of f at x equals negative 2. Write down the equation of t. We already got f prime of negative 2 equals to 0, which means the equation of tangent line will be y equals format. Constant number. Let me set up y equals C format. So we need to get the f of negative 2. We already got from 6a. That equals to 6. Therefore, the equation of t will be y equals 6.